يقول المؤلف رحمه الله: وعن أبي هريرة عبد الرحمن بن صخر رضي الله عنه قال: قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Our seventh hadith on the book Riyad, us-Saliheen is narrated by Abu Hurairah رضي الله تعالى عنه. And what we know of Abu Hurairah is that he is the most prolific or proficient narrator of hadith, meaning he narrated the most hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. However, his name is, as Imam Nawawi rahimahullah said, is Abdul Rahman ibn Sakhr. Abu Hurairah's name is not Abu Hurairah, that's his nickname. That's his kunya. The father of Hir is like kittens. Hir. So he was someone who was seen playing and sitting with lots of kittens and cats. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam called him the father of these kittens and cats, Abu Hurairah. Okay, but his name is Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman, the son of Sakhr. Allah be pleased with him. He reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ. Rawahu Muslim. That indeed Allah Azza wa Jal, He does not look at your bodies, nor does He look at your forms, but He looks at your hearts. He looks at your hearts. And this hadith is similar to the verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse number 31, when Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Or 13, so not 31, verse 13. إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. That the most noble of people towards Allah Azza wa Jal, in front of Allah, are those who have the most taqwa. The most honorable of people, the most noble of people, in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal, are the people who are the most righteous. The people who are the most fearful of Allah, the most conscious and mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this hadith tells us that Allah Azza wa Jal, when He looks at His slaves, when He wants to judge His slaves and distinguish between them in terms of who is the best, He doesn't look at their bodies. Are they big or small? Do they have the best of muscles? Are they in the best of shape or not? He doesn't look whether they are particularly healthy or fit. Nor does He look at their forms. Are they beautiful? Are they handsome? Or not that beautiful? All of this doesn't really mean much to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَكَذَلِكَ لَا يَنظُرُ إِلَى الْأَنْسَابِ. Likewise, Allah doesn't look at people's lineage, their background. Are they from a noble background, a high lineage, or are they from the people who are looked down upon? Nor does He look at their wealth. Are they from the rich or the poor? None of this means much in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal. But He looks at their connection to Allah. He looks at their taqwa. Are they someone who fears Allah Azza wa Jal in private, not just in public, but also when they are alone, in khalwa, it's just them and Allah, in seclusion. Do they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? These are the things Allah looks at. The one who fears Him the most and who's always most mindful of Him, they are the most noble of people. They are the best people on this earth. So for people, insan, what do we learn? There's nothing to boast about when it comes to this world. There's nothing to boast about when it comes to what we own and possess. There's nothing to boast about when it comes to our looks, our skin color, our tribes. Whether we are from Pakistan, Kashmir, Sudan, South Africa, it doesn't really matter. None of this is going to benefit us in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. No our bodies, no our forms, no our offspring, no our homes and castles, no our vehicles. Nothing of this dunya is worth boasting over. Nothing of this dunya is worth us feeling special over and special about. Allah Azza wa Jal, He looks at the hearts. يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ. He wants to see who is the most righteous, who fears Him the most, who is the most sincere, who has the most ikhlas. This is what Allah Azza wa Jal looks at. So this hadith teaches us once again, and it's in the chapter that the author brings, what's the chapter about? The niyyah. The chapter is all about rectifying the intention. So this hadith adds to this, that when Allah looks at us, yes, He looks at our deeds. But what we know is, we have a jama'ah. When Allah looks at this jama'ah, He sees everybody praying the same salah, doing the same actions, ruku, sujood, standing, tashahud, tahiyat, salam, listening to the Quran. Everybody's doing the same thing from what's apparent. From the outside, it looks like, mashallah, everybody's on the same level. But when Allah looks at the hearts, what does He see? One person is showing off. One person is praying, his heart is completely heedless and negligent. He is thinking about some other thing happening in the world. And the next person, he's focusing on Allah. The next person has khushu'. The next person, he's focusing on every letter that's being recited. So what we learn is, when Allah looks at the hearts, what does He see? He sees that the salah may look the same from what's apparent, but in reality the difference may be like the distance between the east and the west. The difference in our prayers. And this only Allah knows. Who is the most, closest to Him, has the most khushu', the most taqwa, and so forth. So what's upon us is always to purify the hearts, rectify what's inside, and then naturally that's which is apparent on the outside will become rectified, inshallah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to purify our hearts and to guide us at all times. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.